going on, guys? Welcome, Rabid here, and we are checking out the CMP 100-210 once again. This time another memory intensive algorithm known as Fishhash. So this consists of obviously Ironfish and Karlsen. So let's take a look at some hash rates and see how well this GPU does perform. All right, guys, so if you've been following my previous tests, we're going through the same type of overclock settings here as the memory and stuff. It doesn't really have much wiggle room to play with. You're either running 300 memory or you're running 0. 0 is defaulted to 810 memory, and max of plus 300 is defaulted upwards of, I think the max was 953. So locking anything above that, like 5001 or something, doesn't do anything at all. So coming into here to take a look at our hash rates between everything, we can see in green, we're going to go through the most efficient setting here. That was 1200 on the core of a locked core clock, 300 offset, 300 memory. That did result in 72.09 mega hash at 164 watts. That's with no fans, so you are going to have to add any type of fans you are running into this. But again, most people are running server cases, so you're going to be using like your Octa miners and stuff for the power there. And that does work out to an efficiency rating of 0.439 mega hash to watt ratio. Now our worst setting here, I did turn up the core a bit. We did rock 1470 locked core at 300 offset and 300 memory. That was 71.76 mega hash. So we actually lost a little bit of hash rate increasing that core clock. We did use quite a bit more power at 181.2 watts for our worst efficiency of 0.396. Now in yellow here, you can see that 1260 on the core as well as 1110 on the core. The efficiencies are pretty much identical. They're slightly off, but they're still pretty good here. So almost on par with the top efficiency here, but we did get 71.96 mega hash with 1260 core and 70.17 mega hash at 1110 core. So I would, you can use any one of these settings here, but obviously it's looking like the most efficient setting here is also giving us the most amount of hash rate. So it only makes sense to use this setting right here, as it is one, the most amount of hash. It's also the most efficient setting. So it's really rare that you actually see those two things as the most efficient and the most hash in the same setting here. But this is, a kind of neat thing. So let's kind of compare this to some of the other GPUs just to see where it sits there. So just comparing this versus something like an RTX 4090, which is in the States MSRP for a Founders Edition, which is the cheapest one you can find, is about $1,599. So they come in at about 82.5 mega hash at 240 watts. So with that being said, this is only like freaking 10 mega hash less at about 75% of the power, but it's only costs about $149. So it's definitely a lot better deal for long-term scaling and stuff. The efficiency is a little bit worse, but it's not as bad as what we did see when it came to a lot of other coins. Obviously, it makes sense that this would be doing better. Ironfish, or I guess Fishhash in this case, the algorithm is memory intensive, and then the 4000 series, they really kind of suck when it comes to memory intensive algorithms, but that will change when 5090s release, as they are getting a big memory boost. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform. But coming into cost here, it's a no-brainer that this CMP card is definitely up there in terms of hash rate and decent efficiency at a decent price here. But keep in mind, you cannot really buy these anymore. You can find them at the odd spot. I will have a link down to Respec, but in order to get these GPUs from Respec at this point, you now have to trade in your actual gaming GPUs for this. And it also looks like they're accepting motherboards and CPUs and pretty much anything you can get their hands on. So it looks like they're taking any type of gamer type of hardware and they are swapping that out for CMP cards. So I will have that link down in the description if it's something you're looking to do. Now, just to kind of compare this to an RTX 3070, we can see they're doing about 39.5 mega hash at 120 watts. So we're getting almost double the hash rate here at about 10 watts more here. So we can see this is definitely a way better GPU over the RTX 3070s when it does come to Fishhash, and it's also coming in about 50% cheaper depending on your used marketplace and where you're finding them. Obviously you could probably find a 3070 somewhere else, but they are coming down in price. But again, you know, the CMP is still doing almost double the performance and at a cheaper price. All right, guys, so there is our results of testing the CMP 100-210 on Fishhash. That is, again, for Karlsen as well as Ironfish, and if any other coins do decide to fork over to that algorithm as well. So this is looking like a solid performing GPU when it does come to this algorithm here. There is a special hidden gem that still has to be tested. I'll probably do that in the next video. Let me know if you know what coin this card does perform on the best down in the comments section if you're aware about that. But I will have those numbers coming out in the following video after this. But so far it's looking pretty good. Again, you're gonna have to trade in your gaming stuff, whether it's CPUs, motherboards, pretty much any type of hardware. It does look like they're taking in anything at this point, and that's how you will trade them in for the CMP cards. One thing to keep in mind, the big downfall on these is you're not really going to have any resale value at all. The only people you're going to be selling these to is other miners. So if things start looking not very good again, you are going to probably be stuck with these things for life. So keep that in the back of your mind, guys. Anyway, thanks for checking out this video. I will see you on the next one. Rabid out.